today, anyway, on a more serious note, I do like to de-woo-woo or demystify some of the stuff that I love to do and I love to research and be involved in, and things that we use, tools that we use with clients. However, they're not necessarily mainstream, or they perhaps are seen as quite, airheady or, super spiritual and things like that. And it creates a bit of a fear around it, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But like the big thing is actually science is really starting to agree with that stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually scientifically proven to
Mm.
see a wave of energy, emit itself from your heart. That's a Dr. Joe Dispenza thing. It's actually scientifically proven, and I think that's a wonderful thing. But like you're right, it's still held in that mystical other side kind of place in people's minds, isn't it? But it's actually becoming more of a real thing.
Yes, science is proving more and more your
Yeah.
woo-woo stuff. On top of that, though, the other way I look at it is a couple of things. One, if believing in crystals or afterlife or, whatever your chosen medium, believing in that gets you the result that you want,
Who
who
cares?
gives a shit? Yeah. And secondly, you and I have spoken about this before, very strongly for the belief that our thoughts create our reality.
Absolutely. I mean, have you read the book Biology of Belief?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. I mean,
Dr.
there you
Lipton.
go. Scientifically actually proven.
Exactly. So it really doesn't matter then what you're believing in. This is my whole premise around, let's get a little bit controversial. This is my whole premise around religion, around belief systems. I
She
don't
went
think
there, folks. She
I
went
went
there.
there. I don't think anyone's got it right per se. I don't think there is any one way to believe. It's simply that you believe. And that actually started, this idea in my head that's never left now about religion, started with a really cool little movie called Dogma with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck,
Yeah.
Alanis Morissette as God. It's fantastic. It's crude as heck. However, it's hell funny. And and one of the things that he said to a nun in the movie was that no religion has got it right. None of them know what they're doing. They simply make their rules that feels good to them, and people follow that. My suggestion that I live by anyway is that believe in yourself, believe in being the best version of yourself, believe in humanity, believe in doing no harm, and strive to be a
It's
really
not hard
good
to know
human.
what's good and bad. Well, it's not hard to know what's positive and negative. Um, the first step really is realizing which camp are you in, the positive or the negative, and
Yeah,
then being honest to get yourself out of that. But beliefs, it's all about beliefs. It's not finding something to believe in. It's what are you believing in, and you get to change it because everything's built on belief.
exactly. It's okay to change your beliefs. It's okay to,
Yeah,
believe in one thing. And then if you have contrary, information, or it starts to not give you
yeah.
the outcome that you
Be,
want.
be man and be well. That's not the right. Can't say that. It's not very inclusive, is it? Be man enough. Be it.
Oh,
If you can be all inclusive.
yeah.
It all. Um, you know. Oh, lost my point now. What did you say just before that?
Bottom line, anyway, and
Oh,
maybe
sorry. Talking about the biology of belief.
yeah,
Because we made reference to it.
yeah,
It's uh, your body actually physically changes. Um, according to certain, like, belief systems. And I'd highly recommend going and reading that book. The guy, noticed that our cells react to energy and
Mm.
therefore thinking, which is a mad concept, but that's all the science behind it. So we literally are what we believe in, like you're talking about.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so when you're doing, because did you want to? This is leading somewhere, isn't it? Or the thing you wanted to talk about.
I
Let's
know I
get
do
into
like to,
it.
yeah, I do like to take little side lanes and whatnot. However,
But
yes,
it's
it is,
totally related to.
yeah, it's leading to inner child work. That's what I wanted to focus a little bit on today.
Yeah,
And this leads segues beautifully into it, because I love doing inner child work. And um, a friend told me a beautiful little story, and it only takes a second. So let me share. She said that there was this story about a family with two sons, a young, very young son, 5 years old, and an older kind of teenage son. And they were all in the lounge room together. And the older son said to the younger son, "Can I talk to you in private? Can we go to the room? I need to talk to you." The mum and dad were a bit like, "Oh, what's going on here?" However, it's okay. And they went into the room together, and they went into private. And the older brother said to his younger brother, "Who are you?" And the younger brother said, What do you mean?" And he said, "I want to know who you are, because I'm starting to forget who I am." Now, the idea behind this, let that sink in a little bit, is that as we grow older, we start to forget who we are at our core, really deep within. And when you think about inner child work, and when you think about young children, and I'm very fortunate that, I have little 6-year-old Harrison in my life. So it's constantly reminding me about what it means to be childlike, you know?
absolutely. I bet.
Yeah. And so children, they they see the world with wonder, with curiosity, with courage. They're constantly building courage, and with love. You look at, you ask any parent, there'll be a certain time in their life where their child stopped wanting to give them those beautiful hugs. The Harrison will still come and sit on my lap and give me a big hug and plant a big kiss on my cheek and say, "You're the best mum in the whole world."
Aw,
That kind of wholesome, from the heart love.
yeah,
And as we grow older, we it's like we lose touch with that real deep love that we have, that we're born with, right? And so when you
because
do,
everybody is born with that. You're right.
yes, we are. I truly believe that we are born with love. And that's the reason that when we're held to our mothers, or any parent, any loving person, when you're held to their chest, the baby, there's a calm that comes over it, and the connection that happens. It's that deep love that's within that baby. And so they go through life, early life, don't they? Wanting to explore the world, making friends so easy. Harrison will just walk up to a whole group of people. He doesn't give a shit. He'll walk in and go, "Hey, my name's Harrison. What are you doing? Can I play?" He doesn't, look at the group and think, "Oh gosh, I wonder if they'll like me. Oh, maybe they'll tease me. Oh, what if I'm not good enough?" He doesn't have any of those negative thoughts. He just walks in and says, "This
Yeah.
is what I'm bringing to the table.
And
Let's
it's
go."
probably not that that's never happened to him before, right? So these things do happen because kids are kids at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So it's not that just that he's probably, it's happening to him and it's bouncing off him, and he's also not paying attention and looking for it either. It's like a real small, tiny thing, like, "Oh, whatever," which is the best way to handle shit, right?
exactly. It's like he doesn't put stock in, you know, if some kids were playing with him, but then they run off and play something else. He doesn't take that as what's wrong with me.
It's not like a rejection. Oh my God.
Yeah, he'll just
Yeah.
go and do something else. And so I do wonder as well if those younger sort of early childhood beings have such a great sense of who they are that they simply do what they want to do and be who they want to be, and other people's opinion of them bounces off, just like you've said.
Mm.
So this brings me to when we do inner child work. The reason, in my mind anyway, my intention for doing it is to take people, imagination wise, take them back to remembering what that felt like when they were 5 or 6, and really remembering the wonder, the love, before all the judgment came in, before all the labels. Who were you? How did that feel, being that little person? What things excited you? Things could have made you excited simply that mum was making a yummy spaghetti for dinner, and that was like the best thing in the world.
Oh, my mum's lasagna. That was always great.
There's a reason that many of us think that our mum's cooking is the best. It's because it goes back.
Absolutely.
They're anchored into those early childhood memories of comfort and love, aren't they?
Yeah.
So to me, inner child work is not so much about the woo-woo or spirituality, if that's what scares people. It's more about remembering and almost like a reset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How
And
do you find inner child work? What's your thoughts about it?
well, so I mean, I went to see a dear friend of mine the other day. It's also hypnosis and all that kind of stuff. And next thing, so I'm sitting there, and we're doing X, Y, Z. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I'm in a trance because he's Mr. Hypnosis.
Yeah.
And he did some of that work, but not necessarily like um, he was like, right, made me go and see myself, imagine and go and have a chat. Oh, it was like fantastic, and that's really what you're doing with the inner child, right? Going back, remembering, but also just going. Sometimes it's just about going. It's okay, because if someone's fighting all the time, they've not necessarily their inner child is all full of fear. It's
Yeah.
about going in to let go of that. And so, like you say, taking the woo woo out of it, it's a bona fide scientific process of hypnosis, that will take you there. And it's probably one of the best things. I've done it the woo woo way, and I've done it, the less woo woo way.
Yeah.
Uh, any way to do it is just bloody great, you know.
And another thing I love about doing this work as well is it's an opportunity to soften and show compassion to yourself.
Yourself, yeah.
Because when you and that's why I keep the little picture of myself as a little girl up on the wall next to me. We can be so, we're our worst critic, aren't we? We're so harsh on ourselves as an adult and expect such high demands on ourselves, and can really beat ourselves up when we make mistakes or disappoint, etc. And so the way we talk to ourselves as an adult sometimes is really quite cruel and mean, you know? When you do inner child work and you go back, just like you were saying, and have a conversation with your little self, it's so much more difficult to be harsh and mean, because you've got this beautiful little innocent child in front of you in your imagination, and the coach or whoever's helping you is leading you to have a conversation and hold that child and tell them that everything's going to be okay. And so the whole language softens, the tone softens, and suddenly you're getting in contact again with that compassionate love that's at your core for yourself. Because
Absolutely.
go back to thoughts create your reality. If you can come from a place of compassion for yourself, you're more likely to have compassion for other people as well.
Yeah.
I love that about this work. And to me, that's what takes the woo-woo out of it. You know, I love woo-woo. I have no problem with woo-woo. I think it's fun. And I'm of the belief that,
Yeah, I don't mind
no
a
one
bit.
can tell me, no one can tell me it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
things will work if you believe it's going to work. If you believe keeping those crystals in your bra is going to find you your perfect mate, hey, go you.
Yeah,
You know?
do it.
Yeah,
Because it triggers the belief, and the belief is what influences your entire environment around you.
exactly.
So, you know, is it the crystals, or is it really just you? You know?
Who's to say? And we come back to where we started today. If it works, does it really matter how you got there?
Yes,
You
exactly.
know?
And you know, don't try it, because you know, why not? Why the hell not?
There is nothing to lose and so much to gain.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yes, we put the name inner child on it, when really what we're talking about is reconnecting to yourself,
Yeah.
you know, and we go back to that.
Before you get to the midlife crisis.
Yes, and even before you get to that teenage angst as well, where
Yeah.
you know, at that teenage years, there's so much pressure to figure out who you are. And that's why I love that story that I told you,
Mm.
where the teenage brother is asking for help from his little brother because he's forgetting who he is. He's taking on so much external bullshit that he's losing touch of the feeling of who he is.
Mm.
And our young people, you know, 5, 6, up to 5, 6, 7 years of age, they still have this innate understanding and belief of who they are.
Yeah, well, because they just take everything at face value, because they've got no reason to dispute things. That's why you
Exactly.
got to be careful about swearing in front of them. It'll just go straight in there like a sponge.
Yeah, that ship sailed in my house, unfortunately. Harrison's got no problem. His context is brilliant, though.
Is it?
He drops it just at the right time. You know, there's a lot of crime going on, unfortunately, in my area at the moment, and well, a lot of Australia is having some youth crime problems.
Yeah.
And there was a story on the TV this morning about it, and Harrison was sitting next to me on the couch, and they hear everything. They're a sponge, aren't they? So even though he wasn't really watching the TV, the story must have been hitting somewhere. They're talking about break-ins and keeping your house secure and stuff. And he said, "I'll tell you what, Mum, if anyone breaks in and tries to hurt my family, I'm going to come at him. I'm going to give him one chance to get the fuck out of here." I'm like, oh, goodness me. What do I do with that? I can't be mad. I'm not mad.
No, because like yeah, little man.
He's wanting to protect his family. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
thing. And he swore in context. So I thought, oh,
Listen, I forget the name of it, but there's a 40-year study on how successful people swear more, and it's true. So
wow. I'll
yeah,
take it then.
yeah, I'll take it. I mean, to be honest, I've probably been a bit liberal with it in the past, let's just say, and not really paying attention to my audience as much as I probably should have been.
Yeah.
So I like to think that's a bit calmer now. But yeah, it's all linked to being a genius. So as far as I'm concerned, he's a genius.
He's a genius already, right? Love it. Love it. So anyway, I got off track there. I apologize. Yeah, when it comes to anything that I think pushes from a personal perspective, if it pushes your boundaries a little bit, as in it scares you a bit, or if someone says, oh, what
Yeah.
star sign are you, or can I look at your palm, or I do tarot cards, or or can I give you a crystal, it'll keep you safe. if any of those things touch a nerve with you, I want to ask you, what you believe creates your reality. So if someone else believes in those things, allow them to create their reality. Let them create. If it's not hitting you, you keep believing whatever you want to believe. However, no one ever got hurt by being open to learning new things. Learning something new does not mean that you have to believe it or take it on. No, you can still have your own beliefs, your own opinions. However, if you close yourself off to even listening to what other people have to say, you also stunt any potential growth as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, you create the box you live in.
Yep. So woo-woo away. Get in the woo-woo, swim in it, enjoy it, and take what you want, leave what you don't, I say, right?
Absolutely. Just don't do a poo-poo in the woo-woo. Never be nice.
And, again, we end. Do you know how often poo comes up in our podcast, Adam?
Oh my God, we should do a study.
We'll do a poo count. This is going into some weird territory now. Let's sign off now while we're ahead.
Before we start dropping the word poo a lot.
Been a pleasure. I'll see you
Always.
next week.
All right. Bye.
Much love. Bye.
Bye.